What's up, everybody? It's Joe from Empire Music, empiremusic.com in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We are Taylor Guitar's online premier dealer, only 30 in the world, bringing you the greatest stuff from Taylor Guitars every day. Check out empiremusic.com for our entire selection of Taylor Guitars, massive selection. Pro photos, never stock photo of a Taylor guitar on our site. Remember, when you get a guitar from Empire Music, any guitar from Empire Music, it gets a full pro setup, dialed into factory specs, giving you the experience that Taylor Guitars would give a touring artist off the line, right? The best playing experience for that guitar, the best version of that guitar. We're really proud of that. And we only carry a handful of brands, so that means we carry them super deep. And we don't get you just a great guitar, but we get the right guitar for you. And one you might want to consider is this just released at this time, 414 CE Studio. Taylor Guitars has been trying to find ways to bring a lot of value to their customers in popular models. And they introduced the 314 CE Studio at the end of 2024, and right now at the beginning of 2025 is now the 414 CE Studio. Kind of an incredible manufacturing feat, an all solid wood Taylor guitar. The 414 CE Studio features a solid Sitka spruce top, which is torrefied, so a baked top, with gorgeous East Indian rosewood back and sides, all solid wood. Check it out. Really, really impressive instrument. Mahogany neck, ebony fingerboard and bridge, V-class bracing, of course, expression system 2. A 1/11/16 inch nut width, right? So this is a guitar that's got a little bit thinner nut width than a standard 414 would. So some players really like that. I think you feel it. I don't know if it's a life or death decision for me personally, but some players, if you think you want a little bit more smaller grip, then you have it here. If you like the wider string spacing, you go with the standard model. What's really amazing about these guitars is they come in and it comes in a natural finish, of course, or this beautiful burst. In the low, at this time, the low $2,000 range. A lot of value for the guitar. It comes with a gig bag. They do some things to help us get to our price point, right? What do? We don't do binding on the guitar. The guitar is not bound. They do a beautiful job of creating an edge here to give us that visual, so they save a little bit of bucks there. The studio models do have, the neck is made in their Tecate, Mexico factory, which I will, as I say at Empire, many people joke me here, I'm always using metaphors and analogies to kind of bring things to life. I always say, just because a guitar is built in the US doesn't make it great. You can have a bad pizza in Italy. I always say you can have a bad pizza in Italy, because I've been to Italy and I had a bad pizza once. So it can't happen. So just where something is made or isn't made isn't the end all be all. The most important thing is this neck is made at Taylor Guitars factory that only makes Taylor guitars by Taylor Guitar staff with Taylor Guitar tooling to Taylor Guitar specs. Much different than an import guitar from Asia, where you're going to a third-party factory and they're making you what they can make you, and you have to tell everyone why yours is better, even though it's the same as everything else. So this is a Taylor Guitar product, and it's phenomenal. I mean, it's just like they just feel awesome. So they give us all this value, and they give us probably the most famous tone wood combination of all time, right? Spruce and rosewood in Taylor's most famous body shape, the Grand Auditorium. What's cool about the Grand Auditorium is that we are able to get almost into any playing scenario and perform expertly, right? So it's just like with this shape, we can play lightly, and man, it's gonna respond quick because it's not so massive. It's narrow at the waist. If we play fingerstyle or light, we're gonna get a lot of character out of the tone. But as we open up and we play a little heavier, the lower bout of the guitar is wide enough that it opens up and lets us play with bigger guitars. The Grand Auditorium shape itself, it was born out of just necessity because Bob was touring around the guitar stores. He had made a dreadnought shape, he made a grand concert shape, and people were asking, hey, we need something just like in between. We need something in between. And the Grand Auditorium was born, and look out. I mean, it's just like it took over, and it's really made Taylor's rise to prominence, because it did fit so comfortably for all players of all different statures. I mean, we can all hold this guitar and feel good. We can sit down on the couch and be lazy with this shape, or we can stand up and perform with it. Obviously with the expression system 2, we sound great live, but just super, super versatile. As, if you've ever been to a Taylor Guitars roadshow, they always use the term Swiss Army knife, which I always thought undermined it a little bit, because the Swiss Army knife really is just a bunch of things that are passable versions of themselves, whereas this is a much higher quality version, small guitar and large guitar, an intermediate size guitar, like, you know, all those shapes, it performs at a very high level for each. So just a phenomenal instrument. I would have done a video when these first came out, but we couldn't keep them in stock, and they were literally selling out as we were getting them in unboxed. They were getting pre-ordered, which is amazing, and the response has been incredible, because this is definitely a pro quality guitar if you're playing live on the weekends, if you're playing live on Sundays in worship, if you want to record at home, if you want to play at home and fill a space. I mean, this can fit any scenario. It's definitely a pro quality guitar, and we're always looking for a great instrument at a great price. Comes with a nice Taylor gig bag, so you can always change your case out down the line if you want something a little bit heavier. But there's some ways that they saved us a couple bucks on these. But what they didn't give us shortcuts on are V-class bracing, expression system 2, the fingerboard and bridge are ebony, all solid. The torrefied top's really interesting because when you bake a top, it's really going to perform more like an older guitar out of the box. So it's going to have some more aged in, more mature qualities to it, meaning that it's going to be a little bit faster responding, it's going to be a little bit rounder sounding than just a non-torrefied top. So some players really love that, and it's cool that it's added here. So a lot of value in that instrument. So what's cool is that you have the studio models in the 300s and 400s now. They both come natural and bursted, so you get lots of good options. Check them out on the site, and we'll get you hooked up with one. If you watch my videos, I like to do dynamic range, and I like to do the mids of the guitar to show our balance. What's great about V-class bracing, and the cool thing about its evolution of Taylor guitars, is for those people that thought Taylor guitars were too bright, which I was kind of balked at, because I think that the guitars are like hyper focused, and I think there's a misinterpretation sometimes of what's happening a little bit there, but it's obviously your subjective experience. If a guitar is too bright, it's too bright, right? Well, the V-class bracing eases the smoothness from the top to the bottom of the guitar, so when you play through, it's more round everywhere, so you don't get as much bite at the top. I will tell you, rosewood always has extra bass, extra treble, reduced mids. So old school 1990s Chevy's Corsica, like I drove, 3-band EQ on the dashboard, bass up, treble up, mids down, right? And it's just kind of like, or how we set every of our distortion pedals in the 90s on our solid state amps. To give us that kind of like throaty sound. So you get that experience here. You're gonna get a strong bass response, you're gonna get a strong treble response, but it has a lot of character and roundness to it, so you're not getting so much brittleness. The good thing with the V-class is the mids are elevated, so we don't totally lose them, and I think that helps make the treble sound not as bright and the bass not sound as overwhelming. So you have the bookends of sound, like you have the bass is strong, the treble is present, and the mids are not so reduced that you totally lost it. So you really have that kind of each endpoint giving you a good place to fill your space, but the mids still live really nicely. So let's check out the dynamic range in the mids of the guitar and see what you think. kind of interesting because I would typically say on a rosewood guitar, we'd be talking bass, trebles, bass and trebles, bass and trebles. What really to me stands out about this guitar, and I think that has to do with a lot with the baked top too, is those mids are very alive, which I very much like, because you don't want your, everybody wants bass. It's like I always say, if I ask a question about anything, I said, hey, do you want your tacos bright or warm, or bright or bassy? Everyone says, I want my tacos bassy. It's like it's like we always want. What we think is what we want is that bottom end, and here it's excellent. However, it's got to be in context, right? Like, it doesn't do us any good if the instrument isn't balanced. It invalidates the feature, because now all we have is sludge. It was funny. I won't name the brand, but someone brought in a trade-in just the other day. That was a very pricey guitar, nearly $10,000 new, and when I played it, it was so bottom heavy that it almost rendered the guitar useless. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things where it's like, as you strum through an open G chord, you heard the low E and the A noise and then the high E. It was just bananas. And I thought, well, that, it's like one of those things where we of course want the guitar to sound full. Yes, I get that totally. We want a guitar that is mature sounding in a lot of ways. It gives us a lot of character, and that bottom end is present, and this has that. I hope, as you heard through the individual note playing, specifically when you hit that low G, you get that kind of good kick drum bottom end, but it is focused, it's defined. Someone can actually hear its characteristics, which is a lot more interesting. I can promise you, if you went to a recording studio, they'd much rather record an instrument that is articulate and defined than something that is just a bunch of a sound bomb of bass that isn't really useful, because as you listen to it and from your audience perspective, it's just sludge, right? But through the middle of the guitar is where I think this guitar is really special, is that it gives you this ability to be heard. And a lot of players that buy these guitars like to play and sing, so your voice sits nicely through the mids. This is almost like you're singing through here. You can hear it, where the guitar does a great job of elevating those mids. So when you strum through, you still get the beautiful top end, you still get the powerful bass, but those mids are there, and it adds so much depth to your sound that it's like really a knockout voicing feature that I think is very hard to achieve, because most brands don't. So it's the Taylor 414 CE Studio with the torrefied Sitka spruce top, East Indian rosewood back and sides, V-class bracing, expression system 2. We have a full selection of Taylor guitars. Check out empiremusic.com. If you want to know if you're getting the right guitar, call us, because we carry our brands really deep. We don't carry tons of brands, but if you go to the brands that we carry, they are very, very deep, allowing us to not only help you get a great instrument, but get you the right instrument for you. Additionally, we have some of the best techs in the country, and they're dialing in every single guitar, maximizing the playing ability, dialing it into factory spec. I always say, if Taylor Guitars was going to hand this guitar to a touring artist off the end of their line, what would it look like? That's what we achieve every day. Pro pack it and get it to you nice and safe, right of our shipping department, which we're just really always working to deliver things safely and at a high level. So check out empiremusic.com, chat with us on the site, give us a shout, 412-343-5299. Myself or any of the guys here can get you a great Taylor guitar and make sure you're getting the right one for you. So this is Empire Music's delivery of the new 414 CE Studio here at Empire. Thanks for watching.